So by extension, the quarterback battle will, of course, ensue into August, we think.
Hmm.
And the wide receiver position is in flux as well, just with a lot of guys competing for those 2, 3, and 4 spots.
Yes. Yeah, it definitely is something that's still very much up in the air. Shedrick Jackson being the main holdover from last year. This will mean something to Auburn fans, maybe not to anybody that's not an Auburn fan, but a lot of people are starting to associate him with the Cody Burns role or that type of figure in Auburn football. A reliable, solid guy at that position he can count on in a pinch, but he was never the guy at wide receiver. Now, I may be saying a disservice here to Shedrick Jackson, and he may just wow us all by the time we get to fall. And I'm hoping for that. I love Shedrick Jackson, one of my favorite players on the team, being a legacy guy and Bo Jackson's nephew. So I really hope that's the case. But we're really waiting for that person to step up. And there's some guys that aren't currently on campus as of yet that could potentially seize that moment. Javarius Johnson continues to be the guy that a lot of fans look to and hoping that he can be that wow factor at wide receiver opposite of Shedrick Jackson. There's also going to be some guys like a Jay Fair who's already on campus and Camden Brown who's still coming in that might factor into that mix. But I'll tell you one name that continues to come up this season and obviously this spring practice, but we were hearing even as early as last year. That's Tavarish Dawson. Towards the end of the fall prep before the season actually started, we were hearing word that he had really impressed the coaches and that led a lot of us to believe that he would see some time at wide receiver. That never came to fruition. Don't know why. Don't really have any evidence to say that there was something wrong, or maybe it just wasn't the timing wasn't right. But he's continuing to get those type of stories printed out about him, those things being seen, expressed by the coaches. So I'm starting to believe that we might start seeing some Tavarish Dawson out there a little bit more. And he might be one of those dark horse candidates for a guy to really pay attention to at the wide receiver position, along with some of these newer faces. But continue to rely on Shedrick Jackson, obviously, and Javarius Johnson. But that is definitely one other name to keep in mind.